All right, I'm told that we have a verdict, so we'll bring the jury in.
Oh, I must check the time. Thank you, Tiff. Okay, so now they say verdict, where's my stopwatch? Eight and a half hours. The jury deliberated for 8.5 hours. Yes. And the time there now is 5:37 p.m. Okay. Okay, here we go. Darlene, imagine if they look afterwards now. I hope they can watch some of the replays with us. Show him. Yeah, looking nervous. Jason's got his glasses back on.
You may be seated.
Here we go.
Members of the jury, I'll ask you to speak through your foreperson. Who is that? All right. Have you, in fact, reached a verdict?
Yes, we have.
All right. If you would hand the verdict form to my bailiff, please. Mr. Howard, if you would please rise. The clerk will read the jury's verdict.
In the District Court of the 1st Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Kootenai, State of Idaho versus Daniel C. Howard, we, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Count 1, is the defendant Daniel C. Howard guilty or not guilty of domestic battery? Guilty. Count 2, is the defendant Daniel C. Howard guilty or not guilty of murder in the first degree? Not guilty. Is the defendant Daniel Howard guilty or not guilty of second degree murder? Guilty.
And I'll note it's signed by the presiding officer. Members of the jury, is this in fact your verdict? So say you all?
Yes.
All right. Do either of the attorneys wish to have the jury polled?
No.
All right. Members of the jury, I'll tell you what happens next. I'll set this matter for sentencing. Mr. Howard is remanded into custody. Counsel, I'm proposing a sentencing date of May 23rd at 1:30 p.m. That's available. I will order a PSI or a pre-sentence investigation. Mr. Howard, I'll have you talk with your attorney about that. You have the right to participate or not participate in that. You continue to have the right to remain silent. Members of the jury, I'm going to read you a closing instruction. I'm giving you a lot of instructions during this case. You have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with the sincere thanks of the court. The question may arise as to whether you may discuss this case with the attorneys or with anyone else. For your guidance, the court instructs you that whether you talk to the attorneys or to anyone else is entirely your own decision. It is proper for you to discuss this case if you wish to, but you are not required to do so, and you may choose not to discuss the case with anyone at all. If you choose to, you may tell them as much or as little as you like, but you should be careful to respect the privacy and feelings of your fellow jurors. Remember that they understood their deliberations to be confidential. Therefore, you should limit your comments to your own perceptions and feelings. If anyone persists in discussing the case over your objection or becomes critical of your service, either before or after any discussion has begun, please report it back to me. And with that, I want to thank you for your patience, for your attentiveness, your conscientiousness and attention to detail throughout this case and the time that you gave in service to this case. I thank the attorneys again for their professionalism and excellent advocacy. All right, I will excuse the jury at this time, and please stand for the jury.
Yes, look at his face now. Now he's not amused. That vein is stressing. We're going to talk a little bit more now. So stay here with us.
All right, Mr. Howard is remanded into custody. I'll see everyone back May 23rd at 1:30 for sentencing. We will be in recess.
Cuff him, yes, cuff him. We're seeing him, then cuff him. Would you love that?
I'm going to break.
Yes. Ta-ta. Oh my word. Wow. Oh, okay. As soon as they've done, then we're going to talk, okay? Yeah. Sarah's like, can't wait for sentencing. May 23rd. I'm shocked. Aren't you shocked? Like, I was like, wait, what? Count 1, guilty. Okay. Excellent. Count 2. Phew, I got a fright when they said not guilty. Did your jaw drop? Because I'm like, sorry. And then they said second-degree murder, guilty. So they couldn't, amongst themselves, agree that this was premeditated. I wonder if amongst ourselves, we would have agreed that it was premeditated. You know? I would have chosen that. But second-degree murder, guilty. Now, if we look at the max sentence for second-degree murder, I just look quickly, right? So Uncle Google's telling us, remember, I'm not a lawyer. Uncle Google says, in Idaho, every person of murder, guilty of murder in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment of not less than 10 years, and the imprisonment may extend to life. So he could still get life in prison. And remember, he's 58 years old now. So, I hope it's not 10. And there's other charges as well, right? And they did say at sentencing, the judge might actually consider this attempted escape, right? The fugitive attempt at the airport. Just hold on 1 second. Okay. Now, also, while I'm chatting over here to you about all of this, which, wow, I hope that Kendy's family can just breathe knowing, okay, there was justice for Kendy, right? And when I heard not guilty, I got a big fright. Okay, so if you guys see a press conference, you know that sometimes they have these post-trial press conferences, please let me know where it is. Where is it? Because I'm looking for it, and while I'm talking to you, it's a little bit difficult sometimes. So, if I didn't say this yet, the difference between first and second degree murder would be, first degree murder would be with what they normally say is malice, aforethought, or premeditation. Second degree is a little more impulsive, is how I see it, right? Okay. She juked her. Okay. Well, they said, I just read it, right? What it would be. A minimum of 10, a maximum of life in prison. Chrissy P's like, LWOP. That's what we want. I really enjoyed seeing them cuff him. Now, you guys are saying press conference? Yes. If you've watched trials with me before, then you know we always look out for where's the prosecutor going to be talking next? You know, because they often do. There'll be media outside. So what is the Idaho local media station? If you see it on YouTube, please send it to me. If you see it on Facebook, please send it to me. Wherever you see it, send it to me, okay? All right. So, yeah, okay. So the Lux Crafter is saying, okay, what is the sentence on the first count? So that would be domestic battery was the charge. Wait, sentence. Okay. Oh, let's say Idaho because it differs per state. Uncle Google. Okay, let's just read it quickly. A conviction of felony domestic battery is punishable by imprisonment in the state prison for a term not to exceed 10 years, or by a fine not to exceed $10,000, or by both fine and imprisonment. Imagine if he gets 10 years and then a fine. We'll be like, what? Like, excuse me, right? All right. Now, let me quickly read you what I do have permission from Jessica Miller to read this email to you because she was in the courtroom and it tells us like how it was, right? And how it was for her as well. Beautiful B says no presser. Okay, no presser. Okay, thank you. No presser. We're still going to keep an eye out. Just in case. Okay, so Jessica Miller said, I spent all day at the trial today. That was yesterday. You're right? This was from yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Remember, I'm already in the future. It's 2 a.m. just about for me. Okay, so I spent all day at the trial today and tried very hard to pay attention to the jury, the courtroom, and happenings. First, you should know the courtroom is incredibly small, and I'm going to show you a picture that Jessica sent to me. I'm talking only 5 rows total, and the rows are about 20 feet in length. Dan Howard sits only 5 feet from the jurors, as the box is on the left and extremely tight quarters. So let me fetch one of these pictures to show you. Let's just download that. Okay. Yes, exactly. Phantom says DV guilty, second degree guilty. Are people confused with my banner? Okay, wait. I can make it like this. But indeed, we'll do it like this. There we go. That should be less confusing. Just to put it all in one line there. All right. So now look at this courtroom picture here that we've got. I wonder what Christopher Loker is thinking. Hey, is it going to be okay? Here's a picture of the courtroom. Thank you, Jessica Miller, for sending us this. As they were waiting today. Like, it really is, it's pretty narrow, right? It's small. Okay, so to read the rest of the email, she said, extremely tight quarters, there's a lot of tension. Even the court TV guy, okay, I'm not going to say his name, just in case, the videographer mentioned this. First thing this morning, I sat right behind Kendy's parents. Kendy's dad is a teddy bear. That's so, we love teddy bears. We love bears, right? Is he a grizzly? Jackie P, thank you so much. Shame. Kendy's dad is a teddy bear and likes to chat. My husband and I both wanted to give him a big hug during the testimony. Shame with all the autopsy photos. He was actually in the courtroom during that? My goodness. He was wiping away tears and trying not to look. Kendy's mom is also very kind, and we shared lots of smiles today. By the way, I'm reading it from the side so that I don't show like Jessica's email address and everything, okay? I chatted with Kendy's uncle, Butch, today. I know Butch, who is best friends with my previous neighbor. He's definitely in the anger phase of grief. I told him the Grizzlies support all of Kendy's family and are praying for justice. He's very impressed with the prosecutors. He feels like the judge is too nice, but understands that he doesn't want any reason for an appeal. I sat with Butch for a small portion of today. At one point, Dan gestured for Wyatt to come and talk to him, and the bailiff stopped that right away. At that time, Butch said, he just doesn't want to follow the rules, does he? So you know when he was like, he looks at the jurors and he sees when they're leaving and then he looks back. I think sometimes he was, trying to make eye contact with his son, Wyatt, or I don't know, probably just trying to look at him, and he was apparently nodding. That is so manipulative, even at the trial. Don't you think? MKO, thank you so, so much. Ooh, Gina says the judge is a DV court judge. I think he will not go light on sentence. Okay. All right. I hope you're enjoying the email. We're getting an inside, like behind the scenes view of what it was like in that courtroom. Okay, so one of the Grizzlies was there, as I say. Jessica Miller, thank you so much. So you said, at that time, Butch said he just doesn't want to follow the rules, does he? At one point, Kendy's parents were sitting right beside Dan's dad and in front of White and his girlfriend. I thought it was odd, but it wasn't by design. And again, the courtroom is tiny, and amongst all the breaks, it just happened that way. They just ignored each other, and it seemed okay. Brooke, that's Kendy's daughter, always sits in the second row. I can tell she's determined. She's a strong woman and is always smiling. Shame. Let me make this picture bigger as well. Sending lots of love to Brooke. My goodness, I can't wait for sentencing either. And there's so much happening in May. Adam Montgomery is going to be sentenced. Jesse Kershevsky. Richard Allen's trial is apparently happening. It is. I'm just saying, like, with the way Judge Gold's going, okay, is it? That's happening. Chad Daybell. Oh my goodness, May is like really busy. You guys better have you subscribe, put your notifications on, and send coffee because I'm going to have to be awake 24/7. Okay, so we're almost there. My hope for this family is that Wyatt can be reunited with Brooke, which I know many of you have said in chat as well. His grandparents, etc., when the guilty verdict is read. It's sad to see the fracture. Dan is also constantly looking over his shoulder to look for Wyatt, desperately looking for eye contact with him and lots of head nods to him. I can't help but feel horrible for Wyatt, who has got to be struggling with the thought that his dad did this. So now onto the jurors, 4 women and the rest men. Only one will be an alternate and they'll get picked tomorrow. The women are as follows. 3 grandmas that I would say are over 60 and 1 gal that is mid-40s to 50s. The one who is in the 40 to 50 category listens very intently. I don't think she meant to do this, but I saw her nod yes to something that the prosecutor said this morning. She really looks like she has the weight of this trial on her shoulders. The men are all over 40 except one young man who looks like he's around 20. There are 2 of the men who really stand out to me. One guy who looks around 50 to 55 is extremely alert. He looks at Dan a lot. I think watching for reactions, especially during some testimony and photos. The other standout is who I call Mr. Handsome. Mr. Handsome. Okay? He's just that, really handsome, around 40 to 45 and pays very close attention. He never reacts, but you can see that he's thinking hard. The other men, I would say, are all over 60 and just normal guys. One of them I recognize from a golfing bar I used to hang out. Never knew him, just recognized him. He also seems to be paying close attention. There is one more juror. He seems to also be in his 40s and he kept closing his eyes. So I think he was bored at times, but also listened intently at times. Sometimes people close their eyes when they listen intently, right? The entire jury paid close attention to the state's cross, etc. During closing, they looked worn out, but still paying attention. Although I thought I should mention, Dan is shackled at his feet. We ate across from 4 jurors at lunch today. Awkward. She said awkward. It's hard to avoid contact, but they're doing a very good job staying away from everyone. I think it was, wow, a captivating trial, right? This is one that I will not forget. I will not forget any of the trials we watched together because we spend so much time together and we watch everything, and offer our opinions and comments and everything on it. So, but this trial, oh my goodness. Yeah, I think it was also, unfortunately, it was one of the best, firstly, it was one of the best of the state's cases that I've ever seen presented. And it was one of the worst closing arguments from the defense that I've ever seen. Sorry about that, right? Lisa in the lab. I can't wait to read all of your comments, by the way. Leave comments below this live stream. So, Casey, so that I can read them. Okay, I can't wait to see what you all think about this because I can't, of course, see what you're all saying all at once. So, Lisa in the lab said the state did an excellent job presenting tons of evidence, all kinds, and in layman's terms, we could understand. I feel bad for them that they didn't get a guilty on first degree and her family too. Casey said in Sunny's voice, you go to bed. Thank you so much, everyone. I will see you again very soon. There's always lots to talk about. I'm so happy they had a verdict today because I was starting to get worried. Like, oh my word, how many days are they going to go? Is it like 2 days, 3 days? What? What's happening here? It should have been like 2 hours. We were like, it's going to be 1 minute. No. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you, mods. I really appreciate it. I know we've all been on high alert for a very long time as well. And I will see you again very soon. Bye, everyone.